So a very important part of boundary setting is this concept of emotional regulation. Maybe you've heard of it, maybe you haven't, I don't know, but I'm going to break it down briefly. So if this interests you, grab a paper and pen and press pause and come back. So emotional regulation is a skill, and you might find yourself emotionally dysregulated. And what that means is that you are seesawing, your mood is seesawing, your state is changing. So you bump into a friend you didn't like at school, and you go into a state of feeling bad about yourself, or getting upset or angry, or that song comes on the radio, whatever it is. It might be something in your environment that you come across that puts you off your emotional equilibrium. So that's kind of where your mood is seesawing and you're feeling very sensitive. You might even be withdrawing because you worry that when you're out and about, you keep getting triggered in all these ways. So you can find yourself emotionally dysregulated after the ending of a painful relationship, could be divorce, something like that. Perhaps the death of a loved one. It might also be just after a very difficult period of time. Maybe you've had some financial issues and some health issues. There could be many reasons why you might find yourself in a situation where your mood and sort of emotional state is sort of moving around. So that's one type. And then you have the other type, which is more subtle, which is that your emotions are not seesawing, but you've suppressed them successfully. So you are struggling to connect to your emotional life. And that is a protection mechanism, but fundamentally, of course, it's reducing your level of joy as well. So if you are the second type where you're quite even, maybe people describe you as calm or depressed, maybe dull. I hope nobody describes you as dull, but you get the idea, I'm sure. So this exercise I'm about to describe to you will help you, whichever type you are. If you are the first type, you're going to write out everything that you feel. So I feel sad, upset, betrayed, life is hopeless, I'm no good, I'm tired of failing. I just, my jaw gets tight, my neck gets tight, oh, my feet are heavy, oh, even breathing feels an effort. You're going to just keep going. You're going to do a purge basically on the page. And that really helps you. And here's why. It slows everything down, right? When you're in that emotional sort of fever almost, this is going to help slow your thoughts down, slow your brain down. And you can even breathe deeply whilst you're doing this, because your nervous system is agitated and up regulated or whatever. And we actually want to down regulate and calm. So writing out slows you down. You can breathe deeply. And it means you can also begin to see really what's happening, and you'll be able to see some patterns emerging over time. But initially, what you're doing is just describing the experience that you're having. And that's important for two reasons. I've mentioned one, which is where you are calming your nervous system down. The second part is that it helps you to separate your emotional state from your identity. So quite often, if something triggers you to feel sad, then you can make the belief that you are a sad person, you're depressed, you're not going anywhere, whatever. The mind then comes in and tells you a story about the emotion. So this also helps to begin to separate you out. It's called a cognitive distortion. It's known as emotional reasoning. But this is a tool that helps you begin to separate that out. So there's the actual calming yourself down and then separating your emotional state from your identity. Now, you do that, and then at the very end of your purge, you say, it's okay that I feel this way, right? Because we are learning to accept. So that's the third benefit there. The third benefit is you learn to accept these experiences that you're having, and then you can actually look at what's happening. Up until that point, you haven't really been able to make sense of this emotional dysregulation. So the process of writing calms you down, helps to separate out your identity, and it helps you accept what's happening so that you can now look. And even if you fall into the second category of emotional regulation, which is the suppressing one, you still do the same process because you have disconnected and pushed those emotions down. And this is a very safe way to carefully start bringing those emotions up. And you do the same thing, start looking at them. And if you're in the second camp, you can then go into that step of unmet needs, which I've mentioned in other videos. But particularly if you fall in the first category, you might need to do this for a while. Could be weeks, could be months, right? I did it for months and months when I went through a very difficult time, and it helped me, and I had to do it for months, and I still return to it now. Every now and again, something still can upset me, and I find it a useful tool to bring myself down, accept the situation, and then use the tools that I have to begin looking at what that is. So that's my video for you today. Thank you for watching. If you try this out and you get benefit of it, I'd love it if you shared, because I know it works for me, and I know it works for others. But it really is a great skill once you get used to it. So thank you, and we'll see you on the next video.